Hey guys, Greg here, Bone Tactical. Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes in the shop and show you how we're going to mount an anvil. All right, I'm going to do the anvil mounting here in the blacksmith shop, in the knife making zone, my dream shop build that we've got going on here. And so you guys are probably familiar with the old anvil I've been using. Thousands of knives I've made on the old Harbor Freight anvil, which is like the cheapest anvil you can get. Really excited to get this Vevor anvil in. From everything that I've heard and from all accounts I've heard, it's the best bang for the buck. A lot bigger. Really excited to get this thing in for testing. Heard great things about it. So I've got basically the best budget anvils here, and I'm testing. And so I'm going to show you how I'm mounting it. I've got one of the hardest hardwoods in the world, tamarind here, log from that. The heartwood is, I make some products out of it, the bats specifically, the bone thumpers, and it's just incredibly hard. So if I want to shout out to the chainsaw as well. This is new technology. It's the 60 volt flex volt DeWalt, and I wanted to test this thing and see if it could cut one of the hardest hardwoods in the world, because it's an electric. Okay, it uses these batteries. The downside, if there's any downsides, these batteries are very expensive, extremely expensive, 60 volt batteries. And the other downside, in my opinion, would be that although it's extremely powerful and did a great job cutting this, I've been using their smaller DeWalt saw in my project for a long time, and I've had to rebuild it a few times because the small components, specifically the small components on the inside, are just not as robust as I would like them to be. But the electric saws from DeWalt now, they're amazing, really. You can do everything you need to do around a homestead with this big one. It's not for industrial work, but I wish that they would just have a little better quality and fit and finish on the actual internal parts, because the idea is there, the design is there, the technology is there, but they just have, screws that are very poorly, poor metal, undersized, not, because I guess they're not for industrial quality, they're just not as good as they could be. But now I'm going to get this saw out of the picture. Wanted to just talk about that real quickly, because showing you guys cool stuff and stuff that really is awesome, and that is awesome, doesn't have the noise of a chainsaw and really has all the potency of a chainsaw, of a gas chainsaw. So really cool technologies come that far. Like I say, the batteries being so expensive is probably the biggest downside, and then you got to be very careful with using it. It's not something you can just beat up like a steel, however you want to say it. Anyway, I'm going to get these anvils mounted up. All I did for this was cut parallel and then use a flap disc, about 80 grit, to try and just smooth it out a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy. And then we're just going to attach the anvils and we'll go to work. I might put some banding around this so it doesn't split, because this is also an old Tamarindo, about 10-year-old trunk I got behind me there, and that one's starting to split down the middle because of so much beating on it. The wood's very hard, and it would never have rotted or anything like that, even though it's been out here in the elements for a couple of years now. It's spent several years of its life out in the elements, but so very good. You want to get a good hardwood. You don't want to just put your anvil on a pine stump unless you're going to be taking care of it. And by that I mean, that it's not no sun and water is hitting it. And then we use burnt motor oil. That's why they're dark looking like this, because that's how you kind of cure the wood to keep it from to make it last longer. Just hit it with a coat of burnt motor oil, and then in a week or so it's dried and soaked in. You can do that once a year. So let's get right into it. What we got going on now is basically putting the final screw in there. What I like to do is I like to use some nylon washers and screws. These are kind of small, but they are strong. I use what I have, fine point. These are metal roofing screws, and you guys know I really like to reutilize stuff. The best option would be some kind of a heavy duty lag bolt style, not actually a bolt, but just they make really heavy duty screws. Recently they've been selling them even at hardware stores and stuff that are really cool. Just giant heavy screws for timber framing and stuff like that. So that's really the best bet. The pro tip is to use a nylon washer. It kind of helps with the vibration a little bit. And then other than that, that's pretty much what we got going on here. And now we're gonna keep making some knives, world's most effective edged weapons and self-defense tools. put this last little guy in here and show you a little run around of what we got.